With the Phoenix Police Department's Air Support Unit. I'm a career police officer. I've been with the police department for 27 years, and I've been up in the air unit flying for about 16. Currently, I'm the chief pilot for the helicopter side of the house. We also have a chief pilot for the airplane side. He usually comes with me, but he got called out to go follow some bad guys, so I'm by myself. But I'm dual rated, so if you guys end up having questions about airplanes, feel free to ask. So our air unit in the city has been around since 1973, going on about 43 years now. Go ahead and press enter. Good. Ooh. Okay, currently we fly 3 types of aircraft in the city. We got the one there up on top, that's the A-Star. We have 5 patrol helicopters. The one on the red is the one you always see on TV. Sometimes they refer to it as the fire department's helicopter. It's actually a police department helicopter. We partner with the fire department to do rescues, and we just painted it red. And then the one on the right there is our airplane. A lot of people don't know that we do high altitude surveillance. So that airplane there, I'll talk about it a little bit later, but we do high altitude surveillance following career criminals, organized criminal groups, a lot of cartel members, and we do detective transport, extradition, and it's always also attached to a task force for mass disaster response in the event of like an earthquake or a flood or something bad. It'll take a FEMA team to wherever it needs to go in the western half of the United States. Go ahead, Mayor. So the police department air unit is assigned to the Tactical Support Bureau. The police department right now, as you all know, we're down about 20% less. The Tactical Support Bureau consists of the SWAT team, canines, and then the air support unit. So there's about 110 of us. Up in the air unit we have 36 people. There's 21 pilots that fly helicopters, 5 pilots that fly airplanes, and then our maintenance staff and management team that kind of do everything else. So we're kind of unique with Phoenix. A lot of air units around the country, they will farm out their maintenance to a private maintenance organization to save money. We don't do that. So the city of Phoenix hires its own mechanics. Most of our people are prior military. They're all city employees, and the reason that we do that is kind of twofold. So all of our mechanics go through the hiring process that the police departments that the police officers go through, and then 2, it helps us manage our risk. So we control the maintenance process. Most accidents around the country occur from 2 things. It's usually maintenance related and pilot related. So we try to control the maintenance aspect by having our own maintenance done in-house. Currently our air unit has the safest safety record in the United States. So we had a really good record. Go ahead and next slide, please. Keep going. Keep. Or one more? That's okay. Let's see. Yep, one more. We were having trouble with it. So the police department, we're a multi-mission agency. So what does that mean? Well, the most visual thing that you guys see is the helicopter flying overhead, making noise. That's the patrol function. The patrol helicopters, the 5 that I talked about, they do patrol support, and that's 90% of what they do. We also use the patrol helicopters for mountain rescues when the red one's not available. We do some SWAT work with our SWAT team where we insert them and extract them out of confined areas. And then we have a program that's called our Airborne Use of Force. We haven't deployed it yet. We train for it, but that's where we take up our police department snipers and we train them to fire from the air in the event of some large vehicle or something coming into the valley that could cause harm to a bunch of citizens, a bomb or something hazardous coming from someplace else. And then we do the airplane stuff that I already talked about. So let's look at some of the other air units around that are similar to ours. Los Angeles Police Department, they have 18 aircraft, 85 officers, 48 mechanics. They fly 18,000 hours a year. They fly a lot. There's an aircraft up, 2 aircraft generally up 24 hours a day. Phoenix Police Department, our air unit, we operate in about an $11.5 million budget. We have 10 aircraft, 26 officers, 9 mechanics. We fly about 5,300 hours a year. And if you look at the red there, we're down about 42% of what we used to fly. Prior to the economic downturn in 2005, we were flying a lot, but because the money got tight for the city, we had to reduce the amount of time that we fly. So we're almost in half.
In terms of square miles, how do we compare to Los Angeles?
That's a good question. So in compared to square miles, the city of Phoenix, the Valley of the Sun, is as big. It's a little bit larger actually than LA. A little less population dense, but it's as big. Next one. Houston Police Department, they have 13 aircraft, 28 hours, and they only fly about 2,000 hours a year. Go ahead. And then New York, you know, they got the big buildings and everything. They only have 7 aircraft. Look at the officers. 50 officers, 20 mechanics, and they fly about 3,800. So, you know, we're right in there with the rest of them. And then all the other area units, LA County, LASO Fire, San Bernardino, they have helicopters, but they're in that Bay Area there, they're kind of a shared response system where some of the area units, they do a shared cost thing that we do not do. Go ahead. And here locally, press it again. There we go. Arizona Department of Safety. Who has helicopters in the state of Arizona? The DPS does. The troopers. They have 5 helicopters in the state. They have 2 helicopters here, but their primary role is EMS, air medical. They don't do a whole lot of law enforcement stuff. The highway patrol, they hire their pilots from the outside world. They're career pilots. They're not career police officers, and they turn them into troopers. So whenever there's something going on here in the valley with the highway patrol that's police related, car chases, foot pursuits, anything that's law enforcement related, 90% of the time we will support the Department of Public Safety. We have one of their radios in our helicopters, and we take care of those guys. Because most of the freeways in the valley, they're in the city of Phoenix anyways. Mesa Police Department, they have 3 helicopters. They don't fly a whole lot. They primarily take care of the East Valley. I think they fly about 3 hours a day. Maricopa County Sheriff, they have 3 helicopters. They got an airplane.
It's all for Joe, though.
Yeah, they have one airplane and 2 helicopters. Tight budget. They fly on an as-needed basis. They don't have any scheduled patrol flights. So, but their primary mission is air rescue. They don't do a lot of law enforcement stuff. If one of their deputies gets in a foot chase or a car chase, they'll respond from their hangar up there at Deer Valley, but they're only available until about 8 o'clock. So they're a part-time area unit. They don't fly that much.
So they're the ones that go to the mountains and get people?
No, that's us. That's us, yeah. Tucson Police has 3 aircraft, but we got the word last month that Tucson is actually thinking about shutting their air unit. So we're waiting to see what happens. And
Border Patrol.
oh, they have a huge air fleet. They have a big fleet. Pima County Sheriff, 1 aircraft. No, that's good. Growth period. So many of you that have been in the city for a long time, 1979 to about 2004, you guys remember the little Notar helicopters? We all loved them as pilots because they were fun to fly, and then everybody liked them because they were a little quieter. It got to the point though with the little MDs that they went out of business, had bankruptcy issues, they couldn't support the product, so those little helicopters were, towards the end of their service life for us, were costing the city about $1,500 an hour to operate. So we made the decision, and then also too, you know, when we bought those, we had a pretty narrow mission. We didn't do a lot of things, and then the city grew, and we just kind of outgrew the helicopter. Where we're at now, so I'm press it one more time there. Boom. Okay. We're available 24/7 on the helicopter side of the house. We're always there, on call out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We used to fly about 21 hours a day, scheduled. Right now on the helicopter side of the house, we fly about 10.5 hours a day scheduled, but with call out and everything else, we end up about 12 hours a day flying is what we fly now.
How many passengers?
So that's a good question. So our helicopters, they're equipped for 6 passengers, but when we go up and do the police work, the police job, we have 1 pilot that sits on the right side, he's the bus driver, and then we have a guy that sits on the left side that does the police function. So we have a split role. So generally we go up and we'll go do the cop job. There's 2 of us in the helicopter, a driver and a talker.
And one of them runs the lights?
Yeah, so the guy on the left side, he talks, he runs the lights, he runs the infrared, he does it all. So all of our pilots and observers were all career police officers. So most law enforcement agencies around the country, like LAPD, Houston, that are municipal law enforcement agencies, we want people that are career police officers that have an interest in doing police work, small interest in aviation, because you can make a pilot. So all of our guys in the helicopter are career police officers. When everybody has to do 3 years in patrol, so if I were to be a new officer today, I would have to get on the police department and do 3 years before I'm eligible to test for any specialty unit in the city. So our air unit is just one specialty unit within the police department. We're like detectives, K-9, SWAT team. We're just a specialty unit. Average seniority to make it up into the air unit for an officer is about 8.5 years. They're not going to get up there for 8.5 years. So our pilots won't be flying over your house unsupervised in our helicopters until they have about 5 years in the air unit. So from zero time to come in the door to where they're doing police missions takes about 5 years. Way ahead of what's in the industry. They're legal to fly over in the helicopters after about 100 hours. We don't let them go do police missions and fly over your house until they got about between 500 and 600 hours. Next one. The Twin. That's the fire department helicopter. So we acquired that in about 2005. It was a joint project between the Phoenix Fire Department and Phoenix Police Department. They put up half of their bond money, and then we put up half their bond money, and we acquired the helicopter. It's different than our patrol helicopters because it has 2 engines for mountain rescues. Doesn't make it more powerful, it makes it safer. So the second engine is really there for redundancy. That way when we're doing high-angle rescue stuff up next to the mountain, hoisting people off the mountain and rescuing them, the twin engine is there in case something happens to one. So that helicopter there, it's operated by the police department. Police department pilots fly it, but when we go do rescues, fire department personnel will be in the back managing the rescue operation. So it's a split role. Most other municipalities around the city, like LA is a big example. LAPD will have their own helicopters, and LA Fire will have their own helicopters. Hugely expensive because you're duplicating everything. Two air units, 2 sets of pilots, 2 sets of mechanics, 2 sets of hangar facilities. We don't do that. So we have, 2 of everything. So we have 1 air unit that's shared by both. It's more cost effective. You get a better pilot because we're flying all the time, and we're more efficient. So everybody always asks us about the rescue helicopter. Where does it go? So the fire department operates on a different model than the police department. The police department, we operate within our jurisdiction, within the boundaries of the city of Phoenix. You know, if we get to the city of Glendale, we'll stop, we'll call Glendale, and they'll go take care of things. Fire department doesn't do that. They operate on a mutual aid system. That way, if some of you guys that live on the borders, or if you ever notice, sometimes you'll see Glendale fire trucks in the city. They do a mutual aid thing. If there is no Phoenix Fire Department vehicle available, Glendale will come into our city, Scottsdale will come into our city, and then we'll go into theirs if they need us. So we have that model with the rescue helicopter. So our rescue helicopter does rescues in the McDowell Mountains. It does rescues up north of Black Canyon City in Daisy Mountain. We have the Estrellas, the white tanks, as well as the mountain parks here in our town, South Mountain, Squaw Peak, and Camelback. So it's a valley-wide rescue helicopter. It goes all over the place.
Does that helicopter have the capacity to transport?
No, that's a good question. So we don't transport anybody. So a lot of the helicopters you see, like the EMS ones, the air medical, we don't do any transport. So we're strictly search and rescue. We will go find you, we'll rescue you, and we'll fly you down to an LZ and take you to the ambulance. But the people that will rescue you, they're going to be all medics. But we don't do any.
So you can't get into the helicopter.
We'll get you in the helicopter. We'll either hoist you or we'll land, we'll put you in the helicopter. But what we don't do is we don't transport to the hospital. We don't have the equipment on board to take care of that, and that's largely because of weight. All that medical equipment's weight. Weight equals fuel, and then which equals less stuff that we can carry in the helicopter. So we're strictly a rescue-based helicopter unit. The next one, the PC-12 Spectre. And that one, like I said, is the high-altitude surveillance one. that one there, everybody here a longtime city resident? Remember the baseline shooter and then the serial rapist? So that kind of highlighted the need for a larger aircraft. Anybody been to the movies lately? Like a police movie? They're real. There's a lot of realism in movies lately. And then we all know about the cartel people that we deal with on the south side of the border. So we had the serial shooter, we had the rapist, the cartel groups that we deal with from south of the border. Most of them are military trained or police trained. They're professional. It's what they do for a living. They're professional criminals. They know our tactics. They have our radios, and they run counter surveillance. It's a high dollar business. So with the serial shooters and the baseline rapists, we kind of had an idea who they were, each one of them, about a week before we arrested them. So we were waiting for DNA to get processed. They're criminals. They were professional criminals. They're in jail now, but they weren't dumb people. They were aware of our tactics. So it got to the point with those two knuckleheads that we were following them around and they were waving at us. They knew that we were there. So, and then all of us, at one time or another, and some of us still do, we have professional jobs. We wake up, we go to, and that's our job. The other component with that airplane are the organized criminal groups that are in town. We call them the career criminals. It's groups of people, that's their mission in life, to commit crime. Mostly property crimes. The burglars, the high-end drug dealers, the human traffickers. Those people, they're aware of our tactics. And it got to the point where we had little Cessnas that we were using, Cessna 172s. We'd go fly about 1,000 feet above the ground with binoculars. And it got to the point doing that type of work, well, they were waving at us. So, and then dealing with the cartel guys down south that are coming through the safe border, we realized that we need something different. So we acquired this plane back in 2006, I think. It was part of the last bond proposal. So this plane here is a little bit different. It will go up above the city, 12,500 feet. It'll get into a 4-mile orbit. It'll slow down, and a big, huge camera will drop out of the belly. So I'll give you a visual so you guys are all city residents. So if you're orbiting downtown in that plane, we can zoom into the Peoria Sports Complex on a good day, and we could tell that you're wearing a green shirt, black shorts, and glasses. Just can't do facial recognition. So it's a really good camera. Feel good to know that when we fly the big plane, we don't go after low-level criminals with that thing. It's usually the big guys. It's the organized criminal groups, the organized drug people, the people that we know that are the violent felons. We're waiting to get DNA. We're looking for them. That one only goes hunting for big players. Yeah, big game. Yeah, it doesn't go hunting for the little things. So I don't know if you guys realize, but probably I want to say early 2000s, the police department changed the way they attack drugs and guns in our community. Prior to that, we used to wait for a lot of that stuff to get into our neighborhoods, and then we would try to take it off and battle the gangs and the stuff in the neighborhoods. Huge crime rates. So the FBI, DEA, the police department, they put together these task forces. So now what this plane does, it works the task forces down on the border, on the I-8, and we interdict the stuff prior to coming into the city, and I'll show you some videos. So the other thing too that thing does, it's a big airplane. It'll go anywhere in the western half of the United States non-stop. Bad guys have cars now. Freeways are good. If you guys all remember the OJ world, post OJ, OJ was really good for police work because it modernized how we collect evidence. So you guys all see the CSI stuff, right? So all of us now, the detectives, the homicide guys, the sexual assault guys, the robbery guys, whenever we catch a bad guy out of state and we want to interview them, we will take our forensics people with us, load them up in that plane, and transport them where they need to go. Because the minute we latch on to you in another state, the clock starts ticking. We either have to let you go or book you into jail. So we want to get you before you go to put in jail. So that will go everywhere. And if you think about Sky Harbor, it's a mess to get through. Try getting through Sky Harbor with suitcases full of forensic stuff, guns, and everything else. We'll load you up and take you to small airports or wherever they need to go.
Where's your control tower and where do you fly out of?
What's that?
Where's your control tower and where do you fly out of?
Oh, we fly out of Deer Valley. Yeah, all of our entire area units at Deer Valley. That's one of the slides that we skipped. We started out in 1973 at Sky Harbor, but Sky Harbor got kind of busy. So we moved up to Deer Valley, sleepy little Deer Valley Airport in 1979. It was in the middle of nowhere back then. Now, Deer Valley Airport's the busiest general aviation airport in the United States. Yeah, it is. It's busy. Yeah, it says. I know. I love that place. Yeah. All right, next slide, please. So I already talked a lot about this. We have. This is kind of an old one here. Our original slide thing took a dump on us. So we have pilots. So we have a mix of pilots. We have the basic patrol pilots. We have instructors. Then we have myself, that's a chief pilot. We have what we call tactical flight officers. Generally, we'll have people in training that are not pilot rated. We're in a unique time in our air unit where all of our personnel on the helicopter side of the house, we're all pilots and dual trained. It's not going to stay like that because we have older people that are more senior that are getting ready to leave, myself included, so people will be backfilling in behind us to take our spots. Go ahead and switch and we already did that. Well, crew selection. Go ahead, click this. So I talked a little bit about this. We test every year. All specialty units on the police department test annually. Once you make it to the air unit, you're in training. We teach you how to do the cop job on the left side of the helicopter. Just being a policeman, that's a 9-month process. You spend 3 months on days, 3 months on swing shift, and 3 months on graveyards. Believe it or not, that's where we lose everybody. We lose about 30% of our people in the TFO training when people go up there and they try to apply their policing skills in the air. They have a hard time figuring out where they are, geographical awareness. They have a hard time with multitasking. They get, it kind of goes into the stress management and they get task saturated and they cease to function. If you pass that, you come to a pathway. So if you come to a pathway, you pass TFO training, you prove that you can do the police job from the air, you'll come to a Y on the road. And it's either going to be airplane or helicopter. When I first went up to the air unit, we were dual rated. I flew both. I flew airplanes and helicopters. When we got the red helicopter and the big airplane, we split it up. So now it's either or. So after that 9-month period, you'll come to a Y on the road. It's going to be based on what you want to do and what we need. And you'll get tasked with airplanes or helicopters. If you're a helicopter pilot, we used to do all of our training in-house. When I went up there, we did all of our training in-house in department aircraft. We have since gotten rid of our old aircraft. They were from the early 70s. The technology was from the 50s. One of our old trainers was down in the police museum. I don't know if you guys ever gone down there. I was the last guy to fly it. So we got rid of our aircraft that were our trainers. And it's cost prohibitive to have a trainer in-house for lots of reasons, because it's another airframe that mechanics have to work on. It's another airframe that our pilots have to stay proficient on, which costs because it's flight time. So we made the decision about 3 years ago to outsource our training. If you pass that 9 months, we'll grab onto you, and the city of Phoenix will send you out for pilot training. Pilot training right now for a helicopter pilot for his commercial and his instruments about $60,000. That was the last guy, was about $62,500.
Regular commercial pilots I think they can only fly so many hours in a month. Do you guys have the same?
No, so there is not for the helicopter guys. There's no limitation on what we can fly. So the airliners are limited on what they can fly. We operate under a different part, our airplane and helicopter pilots, and we don't have a limitation.
10-hour shifts every day?
410s, and each one of our shifts flies between 1.5 and 4 hours a day. So we have 4 shifts, and they fly a vary. The only people that are limited with flight time are flight instructors like myself. I can only provide 8 hours of flight instruction a day, and then I'm done. So we will train our own people to be helicopter pilots. So the city will incur that expense. Well, why do we do that? Man, that's a lot of money. Well, the old way of doing it, we tried to do it in our turbine helicopters, and what we found was we ran a person through there and we did a cost evaluation, and it was about $130,000 to train them in a turbine. So we quit doing it. And what we also found was it takes about 140 hours to make a brand new helicopter license, to get the guy's license. Well, that's 140 hours that we were taking away from the police mission. So that whole process there took about 16 months. So now we send a guy out to a flight academy. He comes back with his license after about 8 months. One of our flight instructors will teach him how to fly that one, and then we'll put him out with a senior pilot where he's supervised for about a year and a half flying police missions. So we'll get a guy up and going flying police missions in about a year. So it's quicker. It's quicker, it's cost effective, it's less risky. So, and go ahead, next one.
This may be a dumb question, Paul, but how much more strenuous is police mission flying versus, say, the radio to traffic guy?
So it's a good question. So helicopter flying, if you guys notice, we fly low, we fly in crazy orbits with the lights on. Yeah. So helicopter flying is a little more dangerous than what the air medical and the other people do around the country. So I used to fly part-time for the news. I still do some part-time contract work for some private clients, and the other stuff on the outside, it's a little easier and it's a lot safer. So we're not flying over populated areas too. So the airplane pilot. So if you get tasked with an airplane job, we'll train you how to be an airplane pilot. So we do kind of a hybrid thing with our airplane. We'll do some of the flight training in-house, but we farm out most of the ground instruction. But to make an airplane pilot is about $55,000 in today's money. Seems like a lot, right? But once our people get up there, they never leave. I've been in the air unit 16 years, and I'm on the low end. Well, I'm kind of in the middle now. I'm kind of in the middle of seniority. There's guys in our air unit that have been up there for over 20 years. So when we've just lost some people that were up there for 25, 27, 28. So it's a small investment, and you get a huge return out of it in the back end. Yeah, it's for flying jobs. It's a really good position for as far as flying. You know, in the industry, it's a good thing. We have really good mechanics. We have great helicopters. We have really good support from the community. So you know, and it really minimizes the risk for us for flying. But we have a diverse mission too. We do rescues, we do cop stuff, we do the SWAT thing. So guys that are coming out of the schools that are looking for jobs, they all want to get what they want to do what we have. Yeah.
I was just going to say, how many guys that go into police business actually want to run?
That's a good question. So we test annually. So when I was a new guy back testing in the late 90s, I'd go up there. We were testing every 2 years then, and I was competing against 60 to 100 people every couple of years. So we test annually. So what we do for our test, we'll go up and we'll do a practical exercise, or we'll do a couple practical exercises in the hangar. We do a resume review, we do a written, we do an oral, and we make a list. We figure in their seniority, and we make a list of 1 through 10. So now we do it annually. So we just finished the selection process in December, and I think about 21 people applied. It's attractive to a small group, but a lot of people don't like it because they find out through their exploration that it's a huge time investment. So if you look at a policing career, which for most of us is 20 years, they're going to spend 25-30% of their career just in training before they're allowed to do the missions. That's in that helicopter. You won't touch the red helicopter in our area unit until you've been up there for about 9 years, 10 years. So that's a huge time investment for a lot of guys, and they just don't want to do it.
Military pilots from Joiner?
No, we do. So we do have some guys. We have 2 guys that are former military pilots. One guy's a retired colonel from the Air Force. He was an F-4 driver, and he went into the Guard, and he retired as a Pilatus guy. Or not a Pilatus, what do you call those things? A drone guy. He usually comes with me, Steve. And we have another guy that's a retired Black Hawk pilot. But even if you have military time, you still have to get onto the department and do your 3 years. And it won't help you to get into the unit, but once you get there, it will advance your training and it will accelerate you. Yeah. So some of the advanced training that we do is, the rescue thing, the all-weather PC-12. Some of the people that have aspirations of being flight instructors, you have the option to do that, but you won't generally see flight instructor until you've been in the unit for about 10 years. Helicopter. Our airplane guys, we just made an airplane instructor, and I think he's got about 8 years in the unit. So compared to the industry, it's standard in the industry for guys to go through aviation training, and they'll get all their instructor ratings right away, and they'll have their instructor rating at 200 hours, and they're teaching other people. We don't allow our pilots to start teaching other pilots in-house until you have over 2,000 hours. So it's senior, well-experienced pilots teaching teaching people. 2015, that was last year, we flew about 5,400 hours. Pretty good. Helicopters was about 4,500, not bad. We did about 11,600 radio calls. We assisted in 2,500 arrests, 300 foot pursuits, 176 vehicle pursuits. And the rescue number is wrong. We actually did 91 mountain rescues, and we rescued 93 people. Believe it or not, the City of Phoenix, our air unit, fire rescue air unit, PD air unit, we're the busiest rescue air unit in the United States.
1 year?
Yeah, that's 1 year. So last year we did 91 rescues, helicopter deployments in the rescue helicopter, and we rescued 93 people.
You know, it's in all that deep.
Yeah, and then we did about three body recoveries, I think, so people that perished on the mountain for various reasons. So yeah, so that's a lot of stuff. That's just helicopter. The big one there that's important to all of us as community members is the vehicle pursuits. That's probably the highest risk thing that we'll encounter with you guys. So that will, having us overhead is safer for everybody. We get overhead, patrol units back off, the bad guy doesn't know we're there, he'll slow down, we'll wait for him to bail out or do something, and then everybody will swarm in and get him after he bails out. And the foot pursuit, so, oh, go ahead. Airplane operations, 920 hours. Look at how many missions they flew, 501 missions. So we do have the big airplane, and we have 3 other airplanes that we use that are smaller airplanes for some low-level surveillance. We still do the stuff with binoculars that I was talking about, but we only do it for the guys that are the unsophisticated criminal guys that are hanging out in the neighborhood doing dumb stuff. We don't use it for the professional people. But 501 missions. What's important about that 501 missions thing, that's the ones that they were able to do. So with the big airplane thing, they'll get, the guys that fly the big airplane, they'll get 3, 4, 5 requests a day, and they're having to prioritize, well, which one do we want to do? So they're really busy. 253 surveillances, 255 arrests. Taking detectives around was about 36 missions. But look at the drug seizures. 14 million in drug seizures, and then the property seizures from the cartel, and that's cash right there. That 1.3 million is cash. That's what the property cartel seizures in cash.
Does that go into your budget?
No, we wish. So generally the money seizures, if we're assisting one of the federal task forces that we're on, we have people, our Phoenix officers are embedded in all the task forces. The money will get split up between the agencies. If Phoenix gets any of that money, it will go into the general fund, and it'll get shared by everybody.
How do you think drones are going to affect your operation?
So there's different levels of drones. There's the big ones that we always see on TV that the military flies, and then there's the little handheld ones that you see. So the FAA has kind of designated those a little different. The little ones, they call them little RC radio remote controlled units. They don't consider them drones. We've explored using some of those, but the technology isn't at the point where we can deploy them for long periods of time. We've explored using them for the SWAT team, for like barricades and stuff, because the batteries on those things are only good for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then they die. So if there's a barricade or if there's a search or something and the SWAT team or the K-9 team needs to look at a specific place, we'll probably use the drones for those, but they'll be flying under 300 feet. Yeah. There are some of the, I'll get with you, there are some of the builders in town that are the high-rise guys. They're actually using the drones, and they have GPSs attached to them to help map out their construction project. But they're not allowed to use them in the downtown area because they're still not prohibited by the FAA. So the FAA is working through all the policy with all that. Do you have a question, ma'am?
You know, I was thinking of Sully, the pilot in New York in the Hudson River.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever have bird problems here?
Yeah, we do.
Because isn't that what he hit?
He did.
A flock of geese.
He had a flock of geese, yeah. So we do have a huge bird problem. There's actually somebody, he wouldn't think it in the valley, right? Because it's the desert. What a bird's going to be doing hanging out? Sky Harbor actually has somebody on staff over there that's a bird migration specialist. That's all that person does is track birds around the valley. So the flight academy that we send our helicopter people to, They actually had a bird strike last week. A bird went through the glass. We've had one, and it was about 8 years ago. But we hit a lot of birds flying around. But luckily, there's a lot of birds don't flap where we do. But they usually hit the rotor system and get chopped up. Yeah. But there are, every now and then we'll hit a big one. So yeah, we do have bird problems. A lot of them. All right, next one.
It's too high for the birds, the turbine engines you got on the plane. That's
Yeah, we fly about, when you guys see us, so there's two types of ways we fly. Generally during the daytime when you see us flying around, we're about 700 feet above the ground, AGL. At nighttime, just so we can see and utilize the searchlight and make it effective, we're about 500 feet. Sometimes you'll notice that we're really low.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, and that's when we're really low. That's when we're chasing somebody. If you see us that we're really low, we're yelling on the PA, we're chasing somebody. And that happens. Either that or say, we had a deal last year out in the West Valley where one of our, a group of officers got trapped by an armed suspect, and the armed suspect was shooting at him from his house. So we were doing low passes over the house to distract him so the officers could get away. So every now and then you'll see us flying real low. But that's short duration. We don't like to do that in helicopters because it's, if we have some sort of mechanical function in the helicopter, altitude is our friend. We don't like doing that.
What happened, was it last night around 6 or 7? There was some plane went over time.
Oh.
Were they doing a flyby?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. They just had the air show over the weekend. So I live out west by Luke Air Force Base, so it was kind of fun watching those guys.
Yeah. It was opening day.
Yeah. So this is what I talked about a little while ago. We're 24/7. We have 4 shifts a day. We have a day shift, mid shift, and 2 graveyard shifts. We have 7 scheduled flights, and we 1.5 hours. The day shift only flies 1 flight. It's an hour and a half a day. The rest of the time they're on standby, but they get called out a lot. The night guys fly 2 flights for about 3.5 to 4 hours a day. When we're not flying, we're at the hangar. And that's kind of good and bad. Our average response time when we're in the air to a call is about a minute, less than a minute. When we're at the hangar, it's anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes depending on where we're at when the city. So in police time, it's an eternity. You know, I started out down in South Phoenix, south of the river. Then I worked in the projects for a little while. And then I did a deal they called the walking beat, where I was assigned to the homeless shelter. So down in that area. But whenever we needed the helicopter, and they were coming from the hangar, it's an eternity when you need a bird.
right.
So it's a force multiplier. Bad guys act really weird when the helicopter comes overhead. Everybody goes. So it's better for us when the helicopter's overhead making noise. Next slide.
At any one time, do you have just the one chopper in the air at night, or do you have more than one chopper?
No, see, in prior to 2006, on the weekends we would have 2 in the air. Right now, after about 7 p.m., there's a helicopter in the air nonstop till about 2:30.
But just one?
Just one.
So he's busy.
For the whole city, he's busy.
So that one that I hear every night, I swear, at 10 o'clock, right on the freeway, right there.
Well, it depends on who it is. Sometimes it's the air medical dudes.
Oh.
But there's highways in the sky, so it's funny that you mentioned that, because we get a lot of calls from people, what about this helicopter flying by? There's highways, and they're called transition routes in the sky that we all use as helicopter operators.
Glendale and I-17.
Glendale and I-17 is one of them. Yeah, they'll come in from Glendale because they transition the airspace over Glendale Airport. They'll come in to about 19th Avenue to between 19th and 7th, and then they'll cut in downtown to the hospitals. So yeah, so it's a transition route. So there's highways up there. I used to live in one when I was out in Tempe. I used to live over one of the highways, and man, was it annoying, because in the middle of the night.
I can set my watch by that one guy.
So what do we do in the helicopters? We're no different in the helicopters than an airborne police car. The police car that you see running around the neighborhood, that's what the helicopter is. We respond to 911 calls. We do proactive crime suppression. We take a look at the crime trends that get put out, and we see where the active areas are, and we'll go spend time over there. We do vehicle pursuits. We do the critical infrastructure stuff. Post 9/11 world, there are sites around the valley here that are critical and that are sensitive. So we actually have a list that we go check every night. And then we do interagency regional support. So not every not every police department in the city is lucky enough to have an air unit. So if you think about Glendale, Peoria, some of the West Valley agencies, every now and then they'll have a car chase or they'll have something where they'll need our services. So we get a lot of requests. So since we fly 42% less now for our own people, they get probably turned down about 42% less than they used to. So we don't go support the other agencies unless it's something big.
And then you bill them for that?
No, we don't. It's all mutual aid.
Really?
It's all mutual aid, yeah. So it's car chases, foot pursuits, officer safety deal. We'll go help other agencies, but it's only as an as-needed deal, and we evaluate each one. If we're over in Glendale and something else happens in Phoenix, we tell Glendale goodbye and we come back to Phoenix. Next one. We do wildfire suppression on an as-needed basis. We kind of changed our model with that. We let a lot of the state agencies, the county, and DPS take care of that. So there are some homes in the valley out in Tremonto, around Camelback Mountain, Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, that are adjacent to desert areas. If there are fires in those areas that are endangering people or endangering structures, we'll go do wildfire suppression for that, but we don't do very much of it anymore. I haven't done anything with a wildfire in I think in about 7 or 8 years, so it's been a while. We don't do it. We still train for it, but we don't do it very much. Next one. Technical rescue, it's what I talked about with the red helicopter. We have 21 helicopter pilots that fly the patrol helicopter. The red helicopter, right there, we only have 6 pilots that are allowed to fly that. We keep it a very small group. We train a lot. The only time that the red helicopter leaves the hangar is for training or for a rescue. And we do that just for risk management. We want a small group of people that we can train with a lot to help manage the risk of the high-angle rescues.
It's a harder plane to fly, a harder chopper to fly.
It is, yeah. And it's double of everything. It's very automated. The systems are double. But I think after you fly for a long period of time, you get used to it and you get accustomed, and we're so used to doing it. Knock on wood, I hate to say that it's easy, but it is. Next one. Okay. Oh, no, that's good. That's okay, because we're going to come back to it. So in 2015, we had some mission suspensions. We've brought some of that stuff back to tactical team support. We actually started doing a little bit K-9 team support work, talking about doing it again. Airborne use of force, that's the stuff I was talking about with the SWAT team. Fire suppression, we haven't trained in a while, but we can still do it. And then some of our specialized flight training we've canceled, but we're starting to inch our way back to the point where we can do it again, slowly. But our mission is always going to be patrol support, answering calls, protecting officers, and protecting you guys. Next one.
Take a dog in the helicopter?
We do the K-9, so we do. So everybody asks us, well, why do you guys do the K-9 thing? Because bad guys are knuckleheads, and for whatever reason, they think they're going to get away from the helicopter when they're running, and they're having a bad day, so they'll drive into the desert, or they'll drive. We had one up by north by Lake Pleasant, and they'll go into these remote areas. So we'll have to insert our K-9 teams to them to do the searches. And then a lot of times, down in the river bottom area, our K-9 teams will start searching from like 67th Avenue, and they'll work west. During the summertime, the K-9s will get exhausted, so we'll have to go in and pull them out. So we do, yeah. I think I talked about it. Go ahead and press that one, see what pops up. So the A-Star, we have 5 of those. They're French manufactured. It's a French design. They're not really French manufactured. So they actually manufacture those in Texas now. So but it's a French design helicopter. Airbus just bought them out last year, so it's actually Airbus. Replacement cost today is about $3.7 million. We acquired ours for $2,002 to $2,008, and they were between $2.2 and $2.9 million a copy. DOC is what's important to us. How much does it cost to operate those stupid things? It's $575 an hour. So remember I talked a little while ago about the old fleet. It's a third to operate these things for more capability. The next one is the, go ahead and press that. That's our twin. It's an Agusta A109. It's an Italian helicopter. That one right there, our helicopter, it was manufactured in Italy, and they brought it over by boat. They have since built a manufacturing plant in Philadelphia. So they're manufactured in Philadelphia now. But even the American helicopters like Bell, Sikorsky, they're not truly American helicopters because they have parts from all over the world, most things, the engines and the components and everything else. So they're hodgepodge. But these two now are made. So we purchased that for about $5.1 million. If we had to buy another one today's money, it's about $7 million. So the DOC on there. So when we figure the direct operating cost on that one, we figure in the rescuers and everything else. But to operate that one last year was $577 an hour. That's parts and fuel. So it's a pretty inexpensive helicopter to operate. DOC is the direct operating cost. So everybody asks us about the bill. Do we charge for rescue services? If you guys go up on the mountains, or if you go out in a trail on South Mountain, or someplace where you get hurt and you need us to come get you and rescue you in the helicopter, will you get a bill from the city of Phoenix? Absolutely not. So that is figured into the city's operating budget. The only bill that you're going to get is if we have to fly you to an ambulance and you take an ambulance ride to the hospital in a City of Phoenix ambulance. The city will bill you for the ambulance ride. But if we have to come rescue you and you're hurt on one of the mountains, it's figured into the city's operating budget. You guys don't get a bill for that.
So you don't have to lay there and
Yeah.
think,
The only thing you guys may get a bill for is if it's a rainy day and there's a wash and you decide you guys want to go through the wash, you guys may get a bill for that. If we have, yeah. So if we have to come rescue you from a wash, you might get a bill for that. And that's where that $1,100 comes from right there, because we have to figure out what it's going to cost us per hour to come rescue you. So it's about $1,100 for the pilot, the 2 people up front, the 2 people in back, and then to run the helicopter for an hour. It's about $1,100. But the true cost is only about $577. It's a good helicopter. Next one.
When those people at 16th Street and Union Hills last year, when they went up around dusk and the helicopters were all over the place trying to get them down. They were on private property and they were...
16 on the mountain?
Yeah, there's a mine up at Union Hills, just north, I guess just north of Union Hills and 16th Street.
Uh-huh.
And they were up there for, at dark, I kept on hearing on the news.
I don't remember that one. Yeah. We'll do a lot. That's probably our worst one. So here's some suggestions. If you guys go hiking anywhere, make sure your cell phone is charged. Take it with you. And if you get lost at night, even if you guys don't have cell service, if you guys don't have cell service and you're lost at night and your little cell thing says 0, get this thing out and shine it at the helicopter. We can see you miles away with just this thing right here. So yeah, take your cell phone with you. If you guys go hiking, take your cell phone. It'll save your life. It really will, even if you don't have cell service. So all of our helicopters, they have a mapping program. They have infrared. They have a searchlight. The searchlight itself is about 40 million candle power. That's what annoys us all. It's really bright. We have LoJack and ProNet. The LoJack is to track stolen cars. ProNet is a thing that the banks use so we can track money packs when we do armed robberies. Each one of the helicopters has anywhere from 3 to 5 police radios, and then there's 2 aviation radios. We have the PA that you guys always hear in the radio because we were yelling at people on the ground. And then the red helicopter has a hoist. So we've gone from this one here, and that's in the police museum now, that little thing. That was 1950s technology. It was a fun helicopter to fly, but it had seen its time to the big turbine helicopter that you see nowadays. So a lot of times you guys will hear us on the PA. So if imagine a school or a commercial yard, you'll hear us on the PA a lot of times. Hey, we see you. Come out. Give yourself up. Even if we're circling an area and we know somebody bailed out a car and they're in there, hey, give yourself up. 9 times out of 10, we don't see you. We don't. But they don't know that. And we'll yell at them, hey, the dog's going to come get you. We see you. And then about 8 times out of 10, they'll give themselves up. They don't know that. Yeah, it's great. It's a great ruse. So if you hear us yelling on the PA, hey, we see you, 9 times out of 10 we don't. But it's a good ruse.
Sensor in there so you can see.
That's the FLIR, yeah. So the FLIR, the infrared during the wintertime, it's great. If you're a bad guy and you go hide and you in the bushes or in a shed or under a car and it's the wintertime, we'll find you with your body heat. And the longer you stay there, the better off we are.
Isn't that how we found the Boston bomber?
And with the FLIR, yeah, if any of you guys saw the Boston bomber thing where he was hiding in the boat, that's with the infrared. So yeah, the longer you stay there, your body heat concentrates, and during the cold season, it's great. And it's more efficient too, because a lot of times bad guys will bail out into fields, they'll bail out into open areas. We can go overhead and clear a mile square area just by looking at it really fast. So it's really efficient. This time of year though, the infrared's not effective, because once temperatures get above like 97 degrees, it's hotter. And we can still use it, but you got to kind of do the opposite. You got to kind of look for cooler things, and it's harder. Yeah, our more experienced guys are good at it, but the younger guys that are trying to figure out, it's an art. During the summertime, the FLIR is an art. All right, next one. I already talked about the high altitude surveillance. Go to the next one. It's high altitude. I talked about all that stuff there attached to the task force. Investigative transport, we do that, so it's cost effective too. A lot of our guys, detectives, they'll have to go to LA, they'll have to spend the night, they'll have to go into a big airport, rent cars, do hotels. We can go to most cities have smaller airports around it like we do. We'll fly the detective to the smaller airport, the police department will pick us up, we'll go do an interview, and we'll be back the same day. So generally, like we were going to do a flight today to Oregon, and to come back it was about $400 cost to the city of Phoenix versus commercial airfare, rental cars, overtime, and hotel, spending overnight. So it's cheaper. Next one. So I talked about the Pilatus. We have some smaller aircraft. We have a 1986 Cessna. It truly is a classic car. And then below that there you'll see down here, you'll see a 1979, 1981 Cessna. They're classic cars too. Great aircraft, but we primarily use them for training. The 210 here is our backup aircraft that we'll use when the big one's down for maintenance. But the other ones are primarily used for training, and then some in-town surveillance for smaller targets. We call them small targets, and they're guys that are the unsophisticated criminals. That's just the type of aircraft that the camera has. The big plane has that camera in there. It's a big FLIR camera, and it really is. It's about this big around and about this tall, and it's just shy of $1 million, the whole system. So we're the only municipal law enforcement agency. We're the only city police department in the United States that has a plane like that. The only other agencies in the country that have that are the DEA, FBI, the alphabet agencies. We have that because of our proximity to the border, and we're a gateway state from the border. So that's why we have the big plane. What, next one? 2015, 1,600 pounds, or 2,700 pounds of marijuana, 291 pounds of meth. You guys can see the value there. Lots of stuff. Lots of money, yeah. And that's all stuff that, if you look at the pounds there, that's all stuff that's crossing the border from the south, coming into Phoenix, that will eventually make its way around within our communities.
That's the ones you catch?
Yeah, that's the stuff that we catch. That's a lot.
They're making it because we're providing the demand.
Yeah. Next slide, sir. That's the sensor there that pops out. There's a sensor package there. They'll go up with a 4-man crew, and they'll hang out up there if they have to for about 11 hours. They can. Go ahead and press the button. All right. Video time. So I'm going to show you guys some videos of our surveillance stuff. There's some good stuff. So this airplane is really good for court. It's good for bad guys that say it was me. And it's great for, let me see here. And it's great for, let me see here. Yeah, our videos have been a little temperamental lately, so. All right, let's see here. Yeah, let's see if I can get it to work. Boom, it works. All right, so this guy here, you're going to watch. This guy here, let me make sure it's the right one. These are all career criminals here. These aren't small-time guys. Let me make sure I got the right one here. Okay, this is it. This guy here is a cartel member. He's in town to buy guns, illegal guns, and take them back south. So while we're watching this transpire, take a look around there and you'll see a lot of cars parked. You'll notice the sunshades are up. So we're overhead, we're watching, nobody's chasing. The one guy gets out there to make the deal. That's an undercover officer there. He thinks, the bad guy thinks, the cartel guy, and he thinks he's making a deal to buy guns.
Where is it located?
That's at 48th Street there in Southern.
What's your altitude? Oh, there it is. I can't read it though.
Yeah,
So
8,700 feet, I think it is, maybe, yeah. So watch what happens here. They're making the deal. The undercover says, hey, the deal is good. So, yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, but the guy in the red car, it tried to ram the police cars. So it's great. It's a great tool for court. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, so there's tons of cars there. They are all hiding, coming in from nowhere. That's all. That one's awesome. So how many of you guys ever go to Starbucks? Starbucks are restaurants where you guys will go in there and play with your computers, or you'll go into Starbucks and you'll see people in there on their phones or on their laptops just hanging out, socializing, right? So this next one, we were following around this group of criminals. They were career criminals, and their gig is that they would go into the Starbucks and punch people who were on their laptops, and they would grab their and they would scout it out. They would send somebody in first, get a coffee, and they would figure out who has the nice laptop, and then so they'd go back in with a different group of guys, punch the person that was on the laptop in the face, take their laptop and take off running. So we were following these knuckleheads around. Yeah. And this is what we get.
They're taking off now from Starbucks?
Nope, so they're driving. I think these are the knuckleheads. They're going to Starbucks. We're gonna go commit our crime. So they'll get out of the car. One guy will two guys will get out of the car. One guy will hold the door open. The other guy will run in, punch the person in the face, and they'll take off with the laptop.
So they've already scouted it out.
We have an idea of who they are, but you know.
They do women's purses and stuff like that?
No, these guys were just technology thieves. That was their thing in life, were computers, cell phones, and they would take high-end computers.
And the Rolex with it?
No. So let me see. Let me watch what they do here. I don't want to get lost. You'll watch them here. They're going to park. They don't know that they're being watched. Now, I forgot where this is. This is someplace on Northern. I forgot where it was on Northern, but in the neighborhood. Oh, well, let me see here. I better speed it up because this is when they're still walking around thinking about it.
You're just hovering now, right?
No, this is the airplane. So this is their yeah.
So that camera can actually
Not
just
at night.
It looked like
freeze frame that thing? I mean, because it's going to be moving at 600.
Man, how long?
This is at 11,000 feet.
Yeah.
What's the plane flying? Come on.
No, the plane is cruising at about 70 knots. It's really slow. Let me see here. How do I get this? How do I fast forward this sucker? I don't want to lose my video here. Okay, here we go. That's the Starbucks. Yeah. These guys were pretty sharp, man. It took us a while to figure out who they were. So yeah, we're at 11,000 feet. We're in about a 4-mile orbit. And what they'll do is these guys will go in and everybody's just minding their own business. They'll actually drive around, and what they do is they'll look for us. So they'll circle these businesses looking for us because they know that we do undercover stuff. So they'll circle around, they'll drive, then they'll drive away, then they'll go drive through the neighborhoods, and they'll look for us. Let's see here. Let me see. My partner Steve knows exactly where this one's at. This one's kind of a long video, so we may end up having to do a reverse.
Going into.
So maybe this is it. Maybe this is where they're going to go do their deed.
People look like aliens.
Yeah, the scale is very.
So this is infrared. This is IR, yeah. This is all IR. So the everything you see that's white there are cars, and then the two humans there. This was not during the winter time. It was at night. We're on the floor. You can tell it's a little warmer because the bodies, the humans are a little darker. So what they'll do is they'll get out of the car, and to you and I, they're just guys walking around the parking lot. We don't know that they're out scoping to do a crime. But we do because we're watching them. All right. Okay, this might be it. Okay, they're going in. One will hold the door. The other one will go in and do the punch, and there they go. The guy in the back there is actually the victim. He's chasing them. You can,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Really?
So the guy in the middle, so you see the one in the middle, you can see him running. Yep, you can tell he's got something. He's got the computer.
Well, why did they park so far away?
So because they're criminals. Yeah. So you see that car there that what's really hot?
Yeah.
That's an undercover detective. Everybody asks us, well, why don't you go take the guy off? Well, we don't know if they're armed. It's high risk. So they know that we're there and we're watching them and we're recording. So they'll go jump in their bad guy car. Right?
You get more of them that way. Wait, look, we really got in.
Yep. All right.
And these guys have been doing this all around town?
Yep, that was their mission in life. So they'll run, they'll try to get away. We're following them all over. And they have no idea. Right now, they think they've gotten away. They're looking around, and they'll get on the freeway, and they do what we call heat runs. They'll go drive really fast to see if there's undercover cars behind them. Once they feel comfortable and they've cleaned themselves off, they'll go home. They'll go home, clean off the computer, put it on eBay, and then they'll sell it. So here comes let me see here. I don't want to give up the stop. But they literally do. They go home. These guys aren't the sniper's tools in the shed. We're following them.
Yeah.
We're giving them the addresses. Hey, this is where the guy's going. He thinks he's all alone. He really does. He thinks, no, nobody's following me, and they're all in there, laughing about their deal.
Looks like whoever he hit didn't really go down too hard. The guy was chasing.
No. It's coming to an end here. So they're going to pull into an apartment complex here. Watch what happens. They have no idea that we're there, but they're going to. They're going to get an idea here really quick.
It's a gated community.
Yep. So we don't take them off. We'll amass. We'll organize, and then we'll manage the risk. We will not only manage the risk for our officers, but we'll manage the risk for our bad guys. We try not to engage. If you guys pay attention to the news, normally when an officer or a citizen gets hurt, it's generally on a one-on-one or a 2-to-1 contact. But when there's a bunch of us, use of force incidents tend not to occur. So then they give up. So that's that one right there. Professional criminals. You guys are knuckleheads. All right, let's see here. Okay, this one here. So this one is a good one for us as citizens because we're managing our risk. This guy here, I'll tell you about it here. Let me see here. Oh nope, store up. This guy here was wanted for murder. We knew where he was at. That's him in the alley. He was really paranoid. He was on meth. He thought we were around watching him, and we were. But this is really good for citizens because it's a risk management thing. This is a good tool for defense lawyers post-incident. So this guy's walking up and down the alley. He thinks he's being watched. We're hiding in the alley behind garbage cans. But we're telling our detectives, hey, this guy's in the alley. Be careful. So watch what transpires here. So we're at about 11,000 feet on this one. We're way up there in another 4-mile orbit. And this guy was a little. I was in the helicopter far away, waiting to get called in on this deal when they were going to take him off. But he was really paranoid, back and forth, back and forth. We were listening to it on the radio. Let me see here. How long is this one? No, this one's pretty quick. So that's him there. He's right here at his yard. He had a little compound going on there. All right, so here he goes again. I know there's somebody down this alley. Right? He's armed. He's got a handgun. And he's gonna walk. No, you'll see him down here. He's gonna walk down here and he's gonna encounter 2 officers that are hiding. And we're waiting for the SWAT team. We're waiting for more units. We know where he's at. He's good for a murder. So he's going to come down here and he's going to startle these 2 officers. And so watch what transpires. And this is where it's really good post-incident for like defense lawyers and for the city. Here he's going to jump up. Here's the 2 officers. Oh, there we are. So he's shooting at him. He's shooting at him.
Oh my gosh.
He's shooting at him, and as he's running away, he's firing. They fire at him. They end the threat.
They end the threat.
Yep. So as he's running away, he's shooting at them. So they end up having to shoot him. And so one of the detectives there ended up getting killed about a year later. That was one of those detectives there was Detective Hobbs. He ended up getting killed a year later hunting another bad guy. All right, so here's the stuff that I was talking to you about. Let me see here. Man, there's so much good stuff here. So this is the Interstate 8. So if you guys ever go to San Diego and you're on your way down there and you're passing off Interstate 8 in the middle of the night, a lot of the smugglers now they use GPSs. They're very organized. The bad guys will steal cars, stock them full of provisions, canned food, Gatorade and stuff. They'll stick them out in the desert, and they have waypoints as they're making their way to the valley. So these guys, so you see the dark area here. So you'll see the dark area right here on the left. That's Interstate 8. So they get told to be at this particular GPS point at this time and to hang out. Watch what happens. And they're just waiting. They're just going to wait. Yeah, they're just waiting. It's the middle of the night. Nobody can see them. What they don't realize is that we're up there at 11,900. There's a Black Hawk about 7 miles away, and we're starting to laze the target. And they're just waiting.
A lot of waiting.
No, yeah, a lot of waiting. They're waiting for the car to pull up. It happens really quick. But there's cars driving by, people on their way to San Diego or on their way home, not knowing that all this stuff's occurring. But they have big bales of let me speed it up here.
So they made it all the way to here. Then.
Yep. So here comes the car. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Wow, they went fast.
We went
How many of them were?
about a year ago. We got a tip on where one of these points was along I-8. We went over there, middle of the day, found 10 hot chickens from Bash's and about 20 bottles of Gatorade. The chickens were still hot, the rotisserie chickens.
They just ran in, threw it in the
They ran in, threw it in the air, and they're going back. Yeah, yeah, they go away. Now they're on.
Used as evidence?
Yep, it is. So they're on their way back to Mexico. They'll just hide there. The car will drive away. And then, so what ends up happening up here is this poor guy here. So what happens is with these professional cartel guys, yeah, these guys will run counter surveillance. They will actually have other bad guys watching their dope car, looking for us, and they'll try to interdict us and block us from making a stop.
Honestly, though, without this technology, there's no way.
No, so you'll see what I was talking about here, the open area. One of these knuckleheads, he'll pull over. They don't know that we're there, but he'll take off in the desert in the dark, thinking, I got away. I don't think so. Boop, fell over a fence. That's probably the funniest part of it. He hits a fence.
Burger fence comes up fast.
Yeah, he didn't see the fence because he's running in the dark. So we directed the other guys to the gentleman in the desert. But the other unit kept following, and they'll do a high-risk stop, and everybody goes to jail, and we take all the drugs. Yeah, so that's a good one. But that's, yeah, he runs for a while. He runs for a while, but finally, he gives it up. He realizes, because they're going to get in trouble. You know, it's a whole load of dope, and that they're going to lose, and they're going to owe somebody. So they know that they're in a lot of hot water. But that's,
Look at all you guys.
yeah, they're all there. Poof.
But that was incredible. They just
Oh.
run off the side of the road.
Oh, what'd it do?
Into the car
Shoot.
And then run back out.
Let me see here.
Unbelievable.
Yep. Let's see here. Let me. No, I got another one by my thing. This is a temperamental. It's a temperamental thing here. I don't know what it is. All right, so I got one more if you guys want to see it. If not, we can be done.
You want one more?
Yeah.
All right. All right. All right. Here we go.
Yes, real life.
Let me see here. All right. Here we go. Pow. All right. So let's see here. Commercial roof burglary. Oh, this is a good one. So this guy here, these were some more career criminals.
Looks like fun, Chase.
This guy here, his thing was, he was going into, the stores that loan people money, and pawn shops. This guy's, and this was an organized criminal group. What they would do is they would go up, scout out a location, go up on the roof in the middle of the night, cut a hole in the roof, crawl in there, and they would wait in the crawl space. And then when the employees came in to count the money before they opened, he would fall through the roof, rob them, and take off. And hundreds of thousands of dollars. He was good for a bunch of them. So our analysts got together and they figured out probable places where he was going to strike next. So our airplane guys were going up every day, taking pictures of these businesses, and they were comparing them to the next day. So one day they went up, they took a picture, they go back the next day, something's different. They end up, you can't really tell there, but there was rope on the building. This is the bad guy car. He's got it parked over here, kind of hiding out. They found rope on the building, and they found a piece of wood on the roof that wasn't there before. It's over here. Yeah. Yeah. So there's FLIR. They're zooming in and out with the FLIR to kind of take a peek at things. So there's the hole in the roof. And then over here you'll see on part of the orbit. So right there you'll see the rope. And then there's the yep. And right there is the there's the hole that he cut. So we're getting a hold of the owner. Hey, is it you got a hole in your roof? No. Did you have rope on your roof? No. So we're waiting for the SWAT team, and we're waiting for the owner to show up, but the employee wasn't notified, so he kind of forces our hand. So I'll show you what happens here. Let's see here. This guy and his group were responsible for lots of burglaries. So right there is where Mr. Mysterio is going to come popping out of here. There's the, I think that's the employee that shows up. Kind of forces our hand. Like we have to make contact now, because if we let the employee go in there, he's going to rob him. This is great. And you'll get to see the deployment with the canines, and there's all of our undercovers that were watching it. So our airplane was going up, just taking pictures. We called everybody, hey, come over and take a look. We think we got something. We were just waiting for the resources to get there. Canines there. Everybody's there. He's in the crawl space. He has no idea that he has no idea here it's going to come. He has no idea that we're going to come out, and he's going to figure out here real quick that we're there. So watch what happens on the roof. he's like a little ninja. But the officers are there, we're there. He doesn't see us, but they're yelling at him, stop, stop, stop. He doesn't listen. So we knew that he was always armed. There's the ladder there. We're getting a ladder to crawl up there. He was always armed with a handgun, so we knew 100% of the time he was armed with a gun. So we knew we were dealing with somebody that was armed. He's going to get wind here pretty soon. The gig's up. Yeah, left corner. It's good. Right over here is where all the fun's going to start. And this is a lot of stuff that the air unit will do too, the helicopter guys will do too. We'll go up at night and we'll do roof checks on commercial businesses because bad guys will go up, especially during the winter season when the AC units aren't running, and they'll steal the copper and then the compressors and stuff. And we get a lot of that. So this guy, around this time here, he can start hearing the noise. We're inside the business yelling at him. There's our big SWAT ladder. We're yelling at him, come out, we know you're in there. You know, I imagine at this point he's probably clicking his feet, saying I want to go home because he's, you know, he realizes that he doesn't want to be in Oz anymore. And then let's see here. I think he's going to come. Yeah, it's almost over. So you'll see him. It's over with pretty quick. Once he comes out, it's pretty quick. But watch how fast this guy gets off the roof. It's just incredible.
Just think of his action.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. It's good for the business owner that he came out, because if he wouldn't have come out, we would have had to deploy. The SWAT team would have had to. Here he comes. Watch it move now. Kapoof. Here he is. I'm running. Now watch. He'll start running to the sides of the businesses. There he goes. The rope's over.
Oh,
Down the side. He's going to jump this wall. Oh, there's the police. There. Yep. So there's the dog. There's the dog's going to get him. So he's running there. He's underneath the trees, and he gets apprehended by the K-9 teams, the SWAT guys, and he goes to jail.
And he spent the night in that up there.
He's actually he got a ton of prison time. This guy got a lot. He was a career criminal. He had been in and out of prison all his life, but he's on a life term now. He's never he's never getting out. All right, that's it. Yep. Yeah.
Officer Paul.
Thank you. Thank you.
Steve, real quick.
Yeah, real quick. About 20 years ago, I did a fly along with the helicopters. And it's amazing what you can see from up there. I took my son with me when we did the fly along because I wanted him to know, never do anything where the police are going to be after you, because you can run, but you can't hide. There's just no way that you can hide from the helicopter police. They're going to be there for you.
Anybody have any questions of me at all before I go? Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Still do rides. We did rides up until about a year ago, but the city is self-insured, so to cut costs, they cut the part of the insurance that covers non-city employees. So the only people that we take now are city employees.
I was a city employee.
Yeah, so yeah. But, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
If you guys, I'm going to leave a couple of my cards. You can copy my information off there. My email's on there. My cell number's on there. Easiest way to get a hold of me is text. If you guys have questions about why we're making noise, or about rescue, or about costs, if you guys sit in any community groups or anything, just feel free to email me or shoot me a text, and I'll get back with you. So, yeah.
Sir, you didn't hear me. I want to say thank you and your help for everything you do.
No, thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
We appreciate your support, we really do. We wouldn't be up there flying around doing what we do if it wasn't for community support. We realize it's expensive, so we appreciate everything. If you would have told me 27 years ago that I'd be flying, we all come on as young rookie officers, when I was 21. And we all have a plan on where we're going to end up. If you would have told me 27 years ago I'd be flying helicopters and flying airplanes, or not even being the chief pilot, I would have told you crazy. So the city, you'll hear a lot in the news about the city. The city's a great place to work. It's been really good to me. So I'm thankful for community support for you guys, because it's allowed me to do some work.
We're thankful for you.
Do you never want anyone the idea of being a pilot?
No, No, I had a career path that I wanted to fly, and I got hurt in the late 90s. I'll give you my story real quick. I was out of work for about a year, getting healing. And then I knew that what I wanted to do, I couldn't do because my body wouldn't allow it. So I needed a plan B. And I knew I was either going to be, I was either going to have to be a detective, and I didn't want to sit in an office job. A buddy of mine who's retired now just went to the air unit. He goes, why don't you come to the air unit? And I'm not kidding you, I was scared to death of flying. I'm like, how do I do that? I hate flying. And it was almost as if somebody said, cue the helicopter, because the helicopter came over us. It circled a couple times and flew away, and I'm like, okay, I'll go try that. So I tested. It took me a few years to get through the testing cycle to get up there. It took me about 3 years to get up there, almost 4 years to get up there. And then, yeah, I'd never planned. I'd never been in a helicopter. I'd never been in a small airplane. Yeah, I'd never planned on it.